Hi, this is Steve, my business partner Austin, and today we're going to talk about setting expectations from your client on your web designs. So, this will cause you the most trouble if you do it wrong. So, people will say, I can get it done in 24 hours, I can get it done in 3 days, anything like that. And then if it doesn't get done in that time, now all of a sudden everybody's a little agitated. So what causes these problems? Well, oftentimes you're waiting on getting photos, logos, content from the your client, whatever it is you're waiting for. Oftentimes you're waiting for that, so you're not actually not doing anything. You're just waiting to get the stuff to fill it out. But so you need to set up some guidelines and understanding about what's expected out of each side to avoid delays. And today we'll talk about how long websites should realistically take, how to explain the timelines to the client, how to avoid, scope creep, adding extra things on, and make yourself look more professional from day one. So never promise unrealistic deadlines. So never say, we'll have it done in 3 days, we'll have it done by tomorrow, anything like that. Make sure there's an understanding that there's a give and take on this, and that you need stuff before you can finish this up. So, and even a simple website can take sometimes 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes longer, depending on what you're waiting for. If the client is being extremely helpful, we've been working with a client for you know over a month now, just trying to get them to move the name servers over to us so we can get the website up. It's been frustrating to us because we've given them all the directions, we've got the website done, it's excellent, but until the client finishes that part of it, we can't finish our job. So that stuff does come up, and sometimes clients just are worried about their own stuff and not so much about that, even though they're paying you. So we've experienced that. um, and let them know that they affect the timeline every bit as much as you do. So let them know that if we get the stuff back in timely fashion, it'll help out and avoid delays. So what kind of delays are there? Delays in getting photos, the service information, their logos, access to the hosting, Google Business Profile access, um, just feedback on revisions. Sometimes they're slow letting you know what they like and don't like. And all those things are going to affect, what you can get done on your end. So use a simple timeline and tell them discovery is going to take 2 to 3 days. We're going to gather information. We're going to learn all about your business. We're going to do competitor research. We're going to be collecting branding materials, getting hosting, domain access, all those things. And, there'll be the give and take because you're going to need to get access from them. Let them know that in this time on time, we've got to be done with this in order to get this done on time. Phase 2 is where you do your initial design. You'll build the home page, set up services, create the mobile responsiveness, calls to action, all those types of things. The navigation, you'll get that done, and that can take anywhere from, that could be the days 5 to 7 if everything's flowing smoothly. Client review and revisions, allow about 3 days for that. And let them know if we get this back quick, we can get this done in 3 days. If not, it can expand on to 5 or more, depending on on when we get this back. And then final optimization and launch, another let's say 2 days for that, where you're working on SEO, optimizing the speed. Maybe you got to get a plugin for that, testing the forms, making sure that they go to the right place, making sure that the mobile layout works. I've had WordPress themes before that say that they're mobile friendly. Well, they weren't. And, so you got to make sure that everything is working how you're expecting it to be. Connect the analytics up to Google and then do the final launch. I'll let Austin take over from here, and then I might jump back up in the end.
Um, so you want to give ranges instead of exact dates, because if you say something like this project will take approximately 2 to 4 weeks instead of saying it will be done on the 14th, because the first one's better because you kind of remove more expectations and pressure on yourself, and ranges, there's a little more flexibility. So you want to set revision boundaries early. One of the biggest timeline killers is unlimited revisions, because the client's just going to want to keep changing things if they're picky. And a 2 week project can become a 2 month project. So a better approach is saying this package includes 2 rounds of revisions, and it keeps the project moving forward while giving the client flexibility. You want to use milestones to build trust. So clients feel more comfortable when they see progress. So instead of disappearing for 3 weeks, break the project into milestones. For example, homepage complete, service pages complete, mobile version complete, SEO setup complete, launch ready, and that keeps communication flowing and reduces anxiety. You want to under promise and over deliver. That's one of the best business lessons you'll ever learn, because if you think a project will take 2 weeks, tell the client 3 weeks. So if you finish it early, you look like a hero. But if you promise too aggressively and miss deadlines, you lose trust fast. And you want to have everything in writing. This is critical. Timeline expectations should always be written down in your proposal and your onboarding document or your client agreement, and should include things like estimated timelines, revision limits, what the client must provide, delays caused by missing content, improvable processes, and that protects both you and the client. You want to do the
Okay, if you want smoother website projects, happier clients, less stress on yourself, follow this. Austin probably spelled it out the best when he said that to under promise and over deliver. When you do that, everybody's usually happy. Good agencies don't just build websites, don't do SEO projects, they manage the expectations. And clear communication makes you look professional, way more than fancy designs. In fact, I would steer you away from fancy designs if that's what you're thinking. Stick to basic, fast loading websites that convert. That's all you're really concerned with. You don't. I know a lot of people think that if they make fancy website, it makes them look like a better web designer. But at the end of the day, your job is to get more customers for your clients. That's it. If you set the expectations right and you do a good job with having everything convert, having everything work, having everything easy to navigate, that's all you've got to do. If you found use in this, please subscribe, please like, and we will see you tomorrow.